Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Welcome, Potter Than Hellions, and welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. And tonight, this is your host, BB. Hey. And why do we say BB is hosting? Because it's BB's birthday bash.
Happy birthday.
And as always, I'm sitting here with my four kick-ass co-hosts,
BC
and Steve.
And keyboard player is Dylan.
I'm on the bench tonight.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you're like
I'm
too
on the bench
deep
tonight.
And guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing us on Facebook. Thanks for interacting with us. That really helps out a lot. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to us out there and on Podchaser. That's a great app to get out there and listen to podcasts just like us. Thanks for everybody who uses Twitter. You know, another aspect of us that not a lot of people know that we use, which is a great way that we can interact. And guys, what's going on? You know, thanks for letting me host the birthday bash. This should be a fun little time, and you know, it's funny to have Steve sit over there and not be the main attraction and the driver. But I guess I'll make him sit in the back. You could be the backseat driver tonight.
I'll be the navigator.
There you go.
Yeah, and actually, just a quick thing. We are recording in a change of venue. We are recording at the 62 tonight, which happens to be my house. The Potter Than Hell lair is in use for another activity tonight, so we'll change of venue.
For a while.
We got to get the beer smell out of there.
Yeah, since the last time BC spilled them all over. And
I was pushed.
see, so we go from BC's crib to the library to the 62.
Your house is next.
I guess so. We'll have to have a BB Ranch segment. So what's going on, guys? BC, what do you got going on? What are you listening to these days, buddy? Let me know.
Oh, God, a little bit of everything. I'm not really listening to anything particular.
Any new vinyl? Did you pick up anything? What do you got?
I did not pick up any new vinyl lately. Picked up some Lizzie Borden DVDs from the Expo. Forgot to mention that during that little...
Who's that? I don't think I know her.
It's a girl from California.
Oh, okay.
California.
Californication.
And I only got to watch one of them, actually. I'm behind. I'm very behind. This adult life is
killing you.
Me down.
See?
Me down.
See, you need the
responsibility.
Are you sure it's not your loneliness that's killing you?
No.
You must confess. You still believe? When
You need
you're
to
not
break away from that
you
adult
lose my mind.
BC.
I know.
No.
It's killing me.
That was a Britney Spears reference. Everybody.
See,
Right over the top.
We did not know that one. Strike three. Righty, what are you listening to there, bud?
I've been checking out the... they re-released this album this year, the 20th anniversary of it, Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings.
Oh.
Great power metal band. I've been really delving into the world of power metal lately. And speaking of power metal and German power metal, I was checking out the new Accept album, Symphonic Terror from live from Wacken. Yep. It's fantastic. They play with... of course, a symphony. And but in the middle, they do some of the classical music with the metal band that Wolf Hoffman put out an album a couple of years ago. I think it's called Metal Symphony, I think. And they do songs from that. It's fucking kick-ass. And that's what I got going.
Nice. DW, what do you got, buddy?
I have been listening to the Beastie Boys. I just got the Beastie Boys book, which is actually right underneath the microphone right now. I wish every band would come out with a book like this because it's filled with like really cool like background stuff and just like awesome behind the scenes like making of.
You are the second person that I heard say that. Jody was talking about that on podcast Rock City, that he picked that book up and he said almost the same exact thing, that he wished every band would put out a book like this.
Like it's so in depth. There's like really cool stories from the two surviving members, Mike D and Ad Rock. There's like a little comic strip at one point. There's recipes that they put in, but like a lot of really cool like making of some of the classic albums like License to Ill Communication, Paul's Boutique. And I've just been going back and listening to all these awesome albums and rediscovering the boys of the Beastie.
Nice. I'm surprised Dad didn't say it's out of format, but
Yeah, well,
maybe
hey,
since he's not holding the reins of this.
I'm not in charge tonight.
I just played before.
Since he's not behind the reins of Santa's reindeer here.
Before we recorded, I played.
That's up to BB to determine if it's out of format.
I played Ryman and Steel, and it starts off with the drum intro to "When the Levee Breaks," and then it goes into the guitar riff of Sweet Leaf. So they're
pretty original.
They sample good bands.
Little Led Zeppelin
Plus,
influence.
they sample "Flicking the Switch" from AC/DC in a later song on that album. So.
I have been listening to a little Faster Pussycat from their debut album. Me, Steve, and BC were in New York City this weekend. Steve and I, we kind of did a little vinyl hunting. BC went a little beer hunting. So
The Beer Hunter.
Steve picked up a couple new ones. I picked up this Faster Pussycat, 1987, self-titled. You know, everybody here loves it, and probably everybody out there should love it. Their main song from that album is, Bathroom Wall. Everybody knows that. But there's some great hidden gems in that album. Check it out. Great band. Never really got the publicity that they should have. We've seen them a bunch of times, and they kick ass live. And what do you think? They're ready.
I think it's a great album. I like it. I saw them on that first tour. They opened up for AC/DC, I believe. It might have been AC/DC or David Lee Roth. One of them. I forget which year it was. Everything blends together after a while. But great album, though. I like it. It's a really raw-sounding album. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, we have we recorded a Faster Pussycat episode early in the podcast that we are holding in reserve. I'm not sure for what, but... we have it in reserve, so
just in case.
There is.
I feel
so maybe
bad.
maybe we'll do something. Maybe.
Well, I feel bad that the one official time we've talked about Faster Pussycat was about their worst album, Whipped.
Well, that's
That's
true.
the only-
That's true.
I mean, we might have mentioned Wake Me When It's Over, or what's the second album called?
Wake Me When It's Over.
Wake Me When It's Over. That might have been on like the No Sophomore.
I think it
song,
was.
but,
I think it was.
In depth, I think Whipped was the only one we talked about.
Oof.
Yeah. So we do have a Faster Pussycat episode out there that we're still deciding what to do with.
What do you think, BC? You a little Faster Pussycat fan there, kid?
I got it when it first came out. I mean, and back then, they were different than, say, what was going on
Right, they
mainstream
were-
at that time.
They were like, I would say, like maybe the first kind of sleazy glam
Probably.
type music like that. I don't know. They were a mix of everything, but they were their own thing too.
They were different. And that's what made them stick out back then, and everybody would grab it up because it was not the norm back then. But definitely a great album.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Nice.
I always enjoyed that album. And I've been looking for that on vinyl too. And the only reason the BB bought it and I didn't, because he found it before I did.
I think he was waiting for me to put it back. I'm like, boy, I haven't seen this one out.
Put the album back.
Fight breaks out in the record store.
Listen to that little
All right, guys, great picks. And let's get into a little news.
All right, this week's news, guys. I know we talked about this a little bit last week. The Steve Riley version of LA Guns will be playing. Apparently, the only show they have booked is at the M3 Rock Festival this week. Not this week, in May. I'm
May,
sorry.
yeah.
May.
They booked this week.
Yeah, the tickets go on sale 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And but they did reveal this week who is in the band. It's Kelly Nichols, that was the original LA Guns bass player, and Scotty Griffin, who was Kelly Nichols, was one of the replacement bass players in LA Guns.
Bass players through the years.
But he's a guitar player now, and the singer is going to be Jacob Bertrand. I'm sorry. Jacob. He was the singer. We actually saw him live, BC. I don't know if Dylan was there the year that Adler played at M3.
Yes, I was.
Were you? Okay. So
he was great.
So he was excellent. Really good for. I don't know how it's going to work in LA Guns, but they're not just playing LA Guns songs. They're playing LA Guns songs and covers.
Some Bee Gees, maybe some,
Maybe
Kansas,
they're gonna do a couple songs from the Grease soundtrack,
Grease
which would be
soundtrack.
cool.
That'd be different.
No, I was thinking of the other John. I was thinking of the other John Travolta when I was doing Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, okay. Maybe that too.
It won't be bad if they don't come out being like thinking they're LA Guns. Like
Well,
big sign LA Guns.
They're
I don't
calling
know.
themselves LA Guns.
I know,
so
but
they're clearly.
you know what I
thinking.
mean? Like there'd be a big backdrop or something like. Oh, I mean, you're not.
I know.
I'm sorry.
But he said though that a lot of the problems that he had with Tracy Guns and Phil Lewis were that they couldn't accept that they weren't like a headlining band. Like they would play shows with Warrant and be billed like the second or third band, and like Phil and Tracy, I guess, couldn't accept that. And Steve Riley kind of put it in perspective. He said, well, just look at how many albums they sold compared to how many albums we sold, that we're like not lesser talent-wise, but the lesser tier band. And that was one of the reasons that they used to get into it. And he said, these days, he said, you make your money playing the shows. He said, just be happy you're fucking playing.
Playing some kind of show. Yeah.
So it'll be different. You know, it's another band taking the stage, another notch in the belt of a band that you've seen. I think it'll be interesting, at least. I'm looking forward to it. I don't care.
What do you got to lose? Nothing.
They're all professional musicians. I don't think they're going to suck.
No.
You know, they're just like kind of, you got to look at some of these other bands with these replacement guys and stuff. I would rather see this version than see like the fucking Bobby Blotzer version of Rat or the Juan Crucier version of Rat. One of the three. Well, I guess I don't know even if Stephen Pearcy has his own version now, but I don't hate the idea, but
What they're
I
doing-
was looking forward to seeing LA Guns though,
Yeah.
with Tracy and Phil
Well,
Lewis.
at least we got to see them.
We did. We got to see them last year on the Sunday day of M3 at a different venue. Def Leppard, we said last week they got the top vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and when we come to record this episode, they're going to be an inductee.
I have the official list if you want me to read it out.
Yes, go ahead.
So we have Def Leppard,
Yes.
Janet Jackson, Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks being the first woman to be inducted twice into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is awesome. The Cure, Roxy Music, The Zombies, and the band that I told you was going to get in, Radiohead. So I don't have to listen
So there's
to,
like
I don't have to listen
three
to
rock
Kid Rock
bands in there. Ridiculous. But I don't know, did they say who is that? Are they is like all the Def Leppard guys going to be in there? I hope so.
I'm assuming at this point, yes.
I hope so.
Because the Kiss one, they said the stipulation out loud, I thought.
Right.
So I don't.
Because Pete Willis was there for the first two
See if I
albums,
can find anything
and
about
he was excellent. And then Vivian Campbell, Phil Collin came in after him, and then Steve Clark passed away, and then Vivian Campbell came in for him. So like, it's not like there's like the fucking E Street Band where the Triangle players in there that tingled his fucking triangle on 2 fucking songs. But I think it would be horrible if they didn't have all the guys
instead
in
of
there.
5 guys,
Because what are they
there'd
going to
be
do?
7 guys up there.
Because if they did, they'll say, oh, the classic lineup. But people consider the first 2 albums the classic lineup. But I'm sure that the stupid people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame probably think the classic thing as the guys that did Pyromania and Hysteria and Adrenalize and those core albums. But I think Pete Willis should definitely be in there, and I think Vivian Campbell. He's been there over friggin' 20 years.
Don't seem like it, but
Yeah, I'm not reading anything that says like there's any.
But I will say, should they induct all of them, Vivian Campbell included, I think it's a fucking major, massive fucking crime that Vivian Campbell is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Ronnie James Dio. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying Vivian doesn't belong there. I'm not saying that at all.
well, it look
The way the
weird.
cookie crumbles sometimes, I guess.
But
Janet
I
Jackson's
mean, come
in
on.
there, come on.
Yeah, really.
It's a joke.
Miss Jackson.
I could name
nasty.
what was that one? Black Cat. I think that's the only song I can name of her.
Black Cat's not too bad for
That's
guitar
it's like her most rock song.
That's the most rockin'
yeah,
song she
Yeah.
did.
Well, we'll have to see. Hopefully,
Congratulations to the inductees.
absolutely, except for the ones that aren't rock bands. You don't fucking belong there.
See, but my headcanon now is it's the Music Hall of Fame, and I don't have a problem with it calling it that now.
Change it. Then fucking change it.
And in all honesty, the definition of rock and roll has changed throughout the years, and it means something completely different now than it did back in the day. Like back in the day, it was Chuck Berry strumming on a guitar, and nowadays it's something completely off the wall. So
Not my definition.
the whole thing about rock is that it's this new revolutionary thing. It's evolving. It's constantly, making something new. So a lot of these artists have done that. So I don't feel as bad as I used to back in the day. Life's too short.
Guys like Dylan are on the board. That's why it's the way it is.
If guys like Dylan were on the board, Ronnie James Dio would have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame already. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I thought you got on board. Shit.
I know. I think it was
No,
going
I
the
didn't
other
get
way.
on. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. They revoked my name.
And one more thing, and I'll tell you what, we've been talking about this guy like every goddamn week, every show. Ace Frehley, he's doing a lot of interviews, and he's I won't say he's exactly talking shit, but he's talking a little bit of shit.
Talk some shit.
Talk shit to me. Talk shit to me. He says now, if should he be asked back to Kiss with the makeup on, he said that's the only way he'll do it. For one thing, that he needs the whole band to be in the same room putting on the makeup. Which he said that when he read that Paul Stanley has his own dressing room that he does it by himself, he said he was appalled by that because when they were a band, they would all put the makeup on in the same room and. That's how they had the gang and the family type vibe or whatever. I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him at all. I think that especially if you're going out, go out as close as you can to how you came in. I'm not saying bring Ace and Peter back, but vibe wise, I think.
There's a ritual almost to putting on the makeup. It seems, especially to Ace, from what I'm gathering. So I don't. This is one time that I'm like, okay, Ace, I can see your point. You're not just talking to get out there. I could see like why you would want to do that because I'm sure
Right.
he probably needs to watch them do it so that he could remember, and two, like you want.
You don't
that,
think he's sitting home practicing putting the fucking makeup on?
You're right. But it probably would help get that old vibe back for him. Make it be like just like old times. So
Although, if Ace is at home practicing putting on the makeup, it's too bad that Vinnie Vincent didn't practice putting on the fucking makeup.
well, it's probably like in Sounds of the Lambs with Buffalo Bill with the lips. Aces. Would you put me on the stage? I'd
Yeah.
put me on the
I was
stage.
going to say, Vinny don't need to worry about makeup. He needs to worry about playing the guitar, I think.
I know. Yeah. So, guys, there's our news for the week, and we'll jump right back into the show.
And there you go, guys. There's the news. A lot of stuff going on. And let's dive right into this episode. Once again, it's my birthday bash here. And how we like to work our birthday bash is that we pick 3 albums and a live album and make these guys listen to it. And we'll get into a little discussion. We'll talk about each album a little bit in detail and what we like, what we don't like. And I'm sure towards the end of the night, there may be a little fist fight, but you never know. We'll see what happens. My first album I picked is from 1983, Def Leppard's Pyromania. I got this Christmas of 1983. My cousin bought it for me. My cousin was a really big influence on me music-wise. He was the one who always got me into Kiss. And I remember him and his mom wanted to know what I wanted for my birthday / Christmas. I said, just give me a tape of anybody good that you're listening to now. This is what he got me, and it was a great hit for me because 1983. I'm just turning 12, and a lot of it was just Kiss and maybe a little bit of AC/DC, but that was really it back then. I didn't really have a way of hearing music like it's all over now, but. It's just really great album. Really kind of turned my ear in a different direction, realizing that there's some really great music out there. And Dill, what do you think about Pyromania?
Well, let me tell you, when I heard that one of the albums you were going to be making us listen to was Pyromania by Def Leppard, I was like, oh, good. This is an album I actually enjoy a whole lot. Actually, I mean, it's probably at this point cliche to say that Pyromania is one of Def Leppard's best albums, but honestly, it is. It's the first album, right, with Phil Collin,
Yes,
right?
Correct.
And he really makes an amazing impression with all of his guitar work. For some reason, this time around, for the first time ever, I was listening to Rock of Ages, And I don't know why it never struck me, but like during the verses, I never heard like the keyboard underneath. I never heard that. Like it's like a keyboard going along with the bass. It's like a little synthy.
It's like kind of and the Cradle Will Rockish.
Yeah, like I had never heard that. I only heard like, you know, the vocals and the drums and like a little bit of the bass, but like then I was hearing that keyboard. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a really cool thing that I never picked up on. But like literally front to back, this is a perfect album, a really good third album for a band, by all means. They have, let's see, 1, 2, they have like 5 songs that people, you go up on the street to somebody and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I know that song by Def Leppard. Yeah, that's a Def Leppard song. But like even the songs that people wouldn't know, like Stage Fright, Die Hard, The Hunter, Coming Under Fire, Action Not Worth, Billy's Got a Gun, like those are really good songs too. And you wonder why they didn't make the radio playlists like these other songs did, because I mean, Fool and Rock of Ages, Photograph, Too Late for Love, Rock Rock Till You Drop, those are mainstays on classic rock radio. Like you could turn to any channel and there's a really good chance you'll hear one of those songs. So you can't say you don't enjoy this album in some respect.
Right.
You just can't.
Cool. Righty.
This album is friggin' fantastic. This is one of the albums that Rob and I rocked the hell out of this album when it came
Till
out.
you drop?
He did.
We rocked till we dropped. Because we had High and Dry before that and On Through the Night. And this is more polished than the first two. And then like when you get into Hysteria, then you're really polished. But there's a lot of great rockers on there. Rock Rock Till You Drop, and the soloing is fantastic on there. And Dylan mentioned before, you have all the hits on there, the Photograph and Too Late for Love and Rock of Ages, Foolin'. But I like this album for the deeper tracks. I love Die Hard, The Hunter. I think it's one of the best Def Leppard songs. It is fucking fantastic. Billy's Got a Gun is one of my favorite Van Halen, yeah. Def Leppard songs. It's just great. I love the end. It is cool. It's got that like first you get that bang bang da-na-na, then you get that doom down do. And when this album first came out, it didn't really do much. I remember they were the opening band on the Billy Squier tour when this album first came out. Because I remember I still hadn't been going to concerts yet, but I knew some of the older kids were going to Philadelphia to see Billy Squier and Def Leppard opening. And I want to say that's when Billy Squier album with the stroke on it, I think, was out.
Don't Say No.
Don't Say No. So when the album Don't Say No came out, Billy Squier, these guys were opening up for them, and I want to say it was after it got some traction playing live, but then they hit it right when MTV came in, and they were one of those bands that was at the right place at the right time. And then these guys just absolutely exploded. And it's a great album. It's one you can put on front to back, no skippers. But I like it for the deeper track. I love Coming Under Fire. I think it's got in this album especially, you got their background vocals and their harmonies really come into formation, I think, on this album. And and then they totally go crazy with that stuff on Hysteria that comes after it. But for the commercial success that it had, there's still some rockers on there. Rock Rock Till You Drop, Stage Fright is phenomenal. And I want to say Stage Fright was their opening song on this tour also, when they played that. And like even like songs that are a little mellower, like Foolin' starts out a little slow, but then that even kicks in. But this is another band that MTV made, I think, and they just exploded.
It was not. It was Rock Rock Till You Drop. Stage Fright was the second encore song.
Oh, okay. Why am I thinking that?
And they closed with Traveling Band by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Wow. Which,
all right.
that'd be interesting to hear.
That'd be different.
Maybe I was thinking it because, like, at the beginning of the song, it's, hey, I said, let me welcome you to the show, or something like that.
It did open the Hysteria World Tour.
Oh, that must be when I knew they opened with it at some point, but great album. I love it. And you guys, check out the videos, too. They're, like, way back campy videos, early storytelling videos that kind of had a story and kind of were like, what the fuck is this
Kinda
kind
weird
of stuff. But great album. I love it. It's one that I could throw on at any time.
PC.
I got not too much more to talk, but these guys already said about this album. But this is definitely one of those. Like I said, 13 years old when I got this, and I had to go through at least 2 to 3 cassette tapes of this album because back then they get jammed up.
Right.
But I played the shit out of this. I mean, it's just rocking from the start.
Get
of
your
the
pencil
game.
out and rewind it.
This would. Oh, you always did that. And this would definitely be one of my 5 albums to have to take or die. This would definitely rank in there.
Cool.
I mean, I just love the Too Late for Love. I love the little Star Wars beginning.
Yeah.
To me, that always sticks in my head.
Right.
I forgot to mention, first, I cannot listen to the song Rock of Ages without thinking of the movie Balls of Fury anymore. Because there's a scene where the main character, it's a movie about like a deadly game of ping pong. There's a scene where the character is like, he's a huge Def Leppard fan, so he makes his entrance to that song. And like everybody's like getting into it and singing it, and I think Christopher Walken like either shoots the stereo or something happens and it stops the song. Yeah.
It's great. No, but this one that always comes back is my uncle was living over the mountain in Hideout at the time, and hop in my mom's car, and I put the Walkman on, put your headphones on, and the whole ride over and listen to this album.
Right.
Over and over and over. It's like,
And
could not get enough of it.
And it's one of those albums too, I think, that, and like you said, when you hear it, you think of that. It takes you back. It takes you right back to
takes you back to
where you
that time
where
of
you
your
listen
life.
to it and stuff. Yeah, it's
it
definitely
does.
one of those albums.
What? No, I was making a joke that, I mean, it does actually take me back to like hearing you listen to it like all the time. I remember holding the CD case and just looking at that cool cover of like the building exploding with like the
bullseye thing.
the crosshairs.
Well, that's great. I'm glad I picked at least one everybody likes. For me, Stage Fright. I think Stage Fright is a top-notch Def Leppard song. You have that live audience sounding in the middle. Their harmony at the chorus is really, really cool. Die Hard to Hunter. I love the helicopter. Then you get like that heavy bass drum out in front. Even a little cowbell and fool in BC. But
You never have enough cowbell.
no. What really, really got me this album, as I'm playing side 2 of the cassette, and like Steve said, you get Billy's Got a Gun, and you hear the do bang bang, and then it goes. I thought the first time I was playing that, my tape was getting eaten. Like I ran over to my little thing. I'm like, stop! I'm like, oh, phew, I saved it. And then I got it straight, and it does it again, and then I realize it's in part of the song. I'm like, what? I'm thinking, boy, were they supposed to do that? Because it really got me a couple of times. But that's great. I'm glad everybody liked it, and it's one of their main albums, and it almost kind of catapulted them from the heavy rocker that their first 2 albums. This is right in the middle. There's a little bit of rocker, a little bit of ballad, a little more try to get out in the radio mainstream compared to Hysteria, which was like played all over the place on the radio. So this is kind of almost like their catapult out there, especially to the United States audience.
That was my first exposure to Def Leppard at the time. Then I went backwards.
Yeah, because we had listened to we had to have High and Dry and On Through the Night, but it was one of them, actually, one of the bands that we were kind of on board, not from the very beginning, but like early on before they really exploded.
I only have experience with Def Leppard after the explosion. So like 8 times out of 10,
You got the shrapnel.
Yeah.
8 times out of 10 you would hear them on the radio would be from this album.
Right.
That or Hysteria.
Hysteria, yeah.
Occasionally you'd hear Bringing on the Heartbreak from High and Dry, but it was mostly those 2 albums.
Yeah, definitely. All right, great job, guys. I'm glad you liked it. Well, let's get into our next BB pick. I wanted to pick Double Platinum by Kiss because that was my first Kiss 8-track. I wanted to throw that out there, but we decided since it's more of a greatest hits album, I'll pick something else. So I dug and I wanted to talk about Crazy Nights. This album is their 14th studio album. It came out in 1987. And since we're talking about it, actually today is Bruce Kulick's birthday, so I know he's a really big fan of the podcast. So hey, Bruce, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And this album, I think is not quite on a lot of Kiss fans' radar, if I'm not mistaken. It seems like
It's on the radar, but not in a good way.
right. Exactly. That's where I was going at. But if because they don't have the makeup, and this is the first album with Bruce, and they're going through changes. But if you actually give this album a listen, I think this is top notch. This is 1987. They're trying to change. They're trying to get back out into the mainstream, on the radio. They released a couple of ballads with this, but we'll talk about that when we talk about this. So let's go. We'll change it around. We'll go BC.
Crazy nights, people.
How many crazy nights have you had?
3. Okay, yeah. But
Yeah,
crazy.
Last Thursday.
One more.
But no, I mean, this was a weird time for me. I was a Kiss fan since I was little, and to me, I mean, this is probably personally my weakest Kiss album. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because to me, there's a lot of synthesizer.
Even worse than The Elder?
I don't mean acknowledge the Elder anymore. So these are Kiss albums that I acknowledge. But I mean, I look it up. I mean, they were going, and then when this came out, and I understand 1987, the music scene was going
Somewhat south in a way.
keyboard synthesizers and all that stuff. There's some good songs on here. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, to me, I can sum this album up in one way. This is my opinion: is Bruce Kulick. When you sit there and listen to his guitar playing on this, to me, it saves the album. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but if I had to pick some songs, Good Girl Gone Bad, and then I Fight to Hold You. I love the guitar solo in that. No. I love the way it starts off with the guitar and drums. And I mean, but there's my way is because too much keys on that synthesizer, and Turn On the Night. I think they were trying to get too much on the radio. But overall, I can throw this on and enjoy it.
Right.
But I mean, it's very. I don't know. I think they're trying to be too radio-ish.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Podfessor, what do you got for us there, Captain?
Well, they really got out the big can of fucking polish on this album.
Turtle Wax.
Ron Nevison brought a big, huge 55-gallon drum of polish with him to the studio. And very polished album.
Is it polished?
It's very polished. And I'm in total agreement with BC. Bruce Kulick is this album. According to, the stories that are out there, Gene wasn't around for a lot of this, and he didn't play a lot on it. But I like the Gene songs on there, though. And you could tell this is a Paul Stanley Kiss album.
Yes.
Because it goes... The first 3 songs are Paul songs. Mm-hmm. And this is the only album that it's that way. It's the only album that there's that many Paul songs in a row. 1, 2, 3. There's always a Gene song, either second or third. Or if it's Revenge, it's first.
Right.
But Bruce Kulick plays his ass off on this album. I agree with BC. My way too many keyboards on that one. And Paul's voice is just going to blow windows out on this album.
A lot of the songs, if they brought the guitar up more front, I think would be a hell of a lot.
Oh, absolutely. If they ever did a reissue or a remix of this, and I've said it before, I do not want them to touch Hotter Than Hell. I like that album is the way it is. But I think this album and Hot in the Shade, which Hot in the Shade is one of my favorite Kiss albums, I think that these 2 albums would benefit the most for a remix. Tone down them keyboards or get rid of them, or just make them more background than the guitars are. Mm-hmm. And bring them guitars up, and you would have just one kick-ass album. But there's some good songs on there. Crazy Nights I could live without. That song just does not resonate with me. When they first played that, Bruce Kulick's band played that on Kiss Cruise 7, that was my piss song. I left during that song because I could live without it. But but the other songs are great. Reason to Live is even a ballad. I actually enjoy that song. I think it's very good. The Gene stuff, Good Girl Gone Bad, is really good. Hell or High Water, I love the vocals on that. But Bruce Kulick just absolutely tears it up on this album. And, When Your Walls Come Down, Bruce is shredding right at the beginning of that one, too. And I love the call and response vocals on When Your Walls Come Down. delve in and check the lyrics in that song. They're interesting.
Okay.
But like BC said, no, just like that's a Bruce and Eric Carr jam. That's just fucking just rocks. It's not one of my favorite Kiss albums. It's probably in the top 15, which for as many albums they have out is not bad.
It's not bad.
It's one of them albums I think you got to be in the mood for. Mm-hmm. It's one of them every now and then, you know what, fuck it, let's throw on Crazy Nights, and you throw it in, and you're like, oh. And I think it's one of them albums too that gets bashed all the time. But then when you actually sit down and listen to it, you're like, well, this is not that bad after all. You just have to take it for what it is. Take it for the time that it came out. It was definitely a victim of the time and the recording process that was out at the time. And you know, hey, these guys, they wanted the hits. They wanted the bankroll coming, you know, building back up. And I think that it went a little too far in that area. Like I'll say it again, Dylan, polished wise. But I don't mind it. I don't hate it.
Right.
No hate.
Dylan, what'd you think about this album there, my friend?
I hope I can come up with some points that you didn't cover, because you literally.
Well, you asked me.
I know. For the longest time, I was a distractor of this album. I always just saw it as like, oh, this is the album that Gene wasn't a part of. It was the Paul album. There's like a lot of, you know, trying to be trendy in radio stuff. But I actually went to listen to this album on BB's request a couple months back, and I really enjoyed it. I do still have some qualms with the album, though. Honestly, I think that they could change up the track listing, like the order of the songs, because like they should try to space out the Paul Stanley song, put a Gene song every other one instead of just like giant chunk of Paul, small chunk of Gene, giant chunk of, you know. It's literally like Gene has 4 songs on this album, and the first 2 are like 4 and 5.
Boom, boom.
So it's like, it's not like I need like space it out a bit. It's like chocolate chip cookies. You don't want all of the chocolate chips
Paul Stanley all the
in
time.
one spot. Paul's voice can literally shatter windows. You're absolutely right with that, especially on like My Way and I'll Fight Hell to Hold You. Like his vocals are out of this world, to quote Tommy Thayer. But honestly, my 2 favorite songs on here, I gotta say, are the 2 ballads, quote unquote, Reason to Live and Turn on the Night. I like the feel of Reason to Live. Paul's vocals go really well with it. And Turn on the Night, I love the keyboards in Turn on the Night. Actually, a lot of my favorite Kiss moments have good keyboards, like She's So European, like the dee-dee-dee-oh-you.
Well, let me tell you.
I love that part.
Turn on the Night sounds so much better without them live. It is you can't fathom unless you see it live.
And like the background vocals on the chorus of Turn on the Night are like some of the best vocals, like vocal harmonies that Kiss has ever done, I think. Like it's so like uplifting, and you're like, oh my god. And yeah, Bruce definitely steals the show along with Paul, because it's basically the Paul Stanley album. I could even call this the second Paul Stanley solo album if you really wanted to. You honestly could, because he has a writing credit on most of the songs, just not the Gene songs. So
Right.
Well, he's always saying that Gene was out.
yeah,
He was out-
Ramsey.
He was out making movies and
Yeah, but
getting bands and
I definitely have a better opinion of the album now than I did in the past. So, and that's thanks to you, BB. So
Cool.
thank you.
all right. I listened to this album. It was probably about a year ago. And I was doing something at work, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Crazy Nights. It was just for shits and giggles. And I can't, and I'll never forget. The second I ended playing it, I sent Steve a text. I'm like, holy shit, Bruce Kulick kicks ass on Crazy Nights. I said, I haven't listened to headphones in years, and I said, I just got done. I said, he blew me away. But see, for me, I think this is a great balance. This is a great balance. Like, Bruce kicks ass, and Paul's vocals are spot on. And I really like the Gene songs. The only one it's kind of weird and I don't understand is Hell or High Water. The vocals in it, I mean, the words in it, I don't understand. It doesn't seem like it's a Gene fitting song for me. But other than that, and I love what you did. Maybe we'll go around and say, hey, what's your favorite and what's your least favorite?
Okay.
So Dylan? What's your favorite and least favorite?
I'm gonna say my favorite is probably Turn on the Night. That is very quickly risen up my favorite Kiss song lists. My least favorite, maybe My Way, because I think Paul's trying a little too hard on My Way.
Righty.
What do you want, favorite first?
Favorite?
I'm gonna say
Crazy
probably Turn on the Night, and probably Hell or High Water be my best, my favorite songs in there. I love. It's a great song vocally for Gene on Hell or High Water. The background vocals are awesome. Shredding from Bruce.
So the exact opposite of what you thought.
Top notch song. Fucking love that song. And least favorite, I'm gonna say probably My Way and the title track are probably tied for the two. Like My Way is just too. I never thought I'd say this. Too much Paul Stanley.
Steve, you can't be saying that about Paul Stanley.
Sorry, Chris.
BC.
One of my favorites off this by Good Girl Gone Bad. And maybe No, and then the least favorite is definitely My Way.
And that was
Too screechy.
Shock the People.
But,
Me being a kid of the 80s, I think My Way is the best song on the album. Wow. I think My Way and I think Turn on the Night kick ass.
Yeah.
And it's the key, and it's the keyboard, it's the sound of it. And that's the years of difference, that thrown around here. And I'm like a keyboard kid from the 80s. I love keyboards.
And it's funny, BC, you will definitely remember this. Remember the
Alamo.
When Ozzy pissing on it. Remember back in the day when everyone was so anti-keyboards. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Like, when, oh my God, Van Halen's having his song Jump, it's coming out of keyboards. But they didn't realize that, in the Cradle of Rock, that was keyboards too.
That was the first instrument I learned how to play.
Yeah, but like there seriously, for a living back then, for like a hard rock purist, like we probably considered ourselves back in the day.
First you were like, what
keyboards was like a no-no. That was like, oh my, like when they did the guitar synths.
That was like Duran Duran.
Yeah.
When they had keyboards.
Yeah, when they did song, like when Priest did Turbo and Maiden did Somewhere in Time. And they had those elements on there, people went out of their fucking minds. And if you look back on them now, I mean they fit, they're good. But like back then, it was like major backlash, and I think that's some of the residual that we still have when we listen to Crazy Nights. I think
it's embedded into us.
Yeah. It's in our DNA.
See, that's what I like. Nice little variety here with that album, because we all had a bunch that we liked, and there was a bunch that we didn't like, and there was some that I loved that you didn't love. So
I will say, far and away, Bruce Kulick is VIP on this, MVP on this one.
Before we go into more of your thoughts on Crazy Nights, do we want to do like the Def Leppard best worst stuff?
Oh, okay.
Since we
I just didn't. That was a great idea when you said. I just we were doing such. Everybody loved it.
I loved it so much. I want to talk about my favorite and least favorite Def Leppard.
Well, you go first then. Since you're
there you go, buddy.
So amped up about it.
I'm gonna say my least favorite, and this is not because it's a bad song. Probably it's because I've heard it so much. I'm gonna say Photograph. It's still a really kick-ass song, but you just heard Photograph. It's definitely the better of the two Photograph songs that are out there in the radio sphere. The other being Nickelback. That song can jump off the cliff. I'm gonna say my favorite, maybe Too Late for Love. I like the different depths of Too Late for Love. That or maybe Foolin' too, because Foolin' has a lot of really cool
cowbell
in it. Cowbell and like synced up like drum hits and guitar. That's really good.
Righty, me? Favorite, least favorite?
I'm gonna say least favorite. I'm gonna say probably Rock of Ages, because I'm so sick of it. I think there's not really a bad song on here, but if I gun to my head, I had to pick just off the top of my head. I would say that would be, but I'm gonna say favorite. I'm gonna say probably Coming Under Fire. I love the background vocals on that. Stellar, absolutely stellar. It has got a great build too at the beginning of the song, and I love the riff under the chorus. Just listen to the riff under the chorus on Coming Under Fire, and you will be a believer.
BC.
Not like the Monkees.
There was never a bad song on his album when it first came out, but throughout time, and here we are in modern age. Worst song out here to me, there's not a bad song, but it would have to go between Rock of Ages and Photograph, just because I think you just hear it so much it's beaten.
Just sheer overplayed.
Best song is back in the day was everything, but I'm gonna go with Die Hard, the Hunter.
For me, still one of probably my top 3 Def Leppard songs, Stage Fright. Love Stage Fright.
That's good.
Second I heard it, sucked me right in.
Cool.
And once again, I think I'm going to go with the number 1 track on this album too, Rock Till You Drop. It just doesn't grab me for the opening track.
See that?
I like it as an opening track.
See? That's why I'm glad we got a little diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so sorry for diverting you from Crazy Nights.
No problem. All right, guys, let's take a break and have our hidden gem. All right, Dylan, what do you have for a hidden gem this week?
My hidden gem is a song that was just released by an amazing local band called Ion Attraction. They had a Kickstarter for their newest project called The Method and the Madness, where half of the album is going to be like classic Ion Attraction sounding songs that are like within their genre of like, progressive metal, alt metal, stuff like that. But then the madness is going to be them going out of their comfort zone and doing like all different types of songs and things like that. So it was a really cool project. I had to support it. And because I supported it, I got a first listen to their first single off the album, Kentucky. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be released to the public. So that's good. But this is a really cool, heavy song from an awesome band. Showcases the new lead singer, Jen Frackus, really well. I'm really excited to hear the rest of the album. So I'm going to say Kentucky by Ion Attraction.
Is that a song?
It is a song, yes. And there's a lyric video for it, so
Okay.
it's really good.
All right, everybody check that one out. Steve.
My hidden gem this week is a project from Vinny Appice and Rex Brown. The first album came out in 2012. The band's called Kill Devil Hill. Really good album, very heavy. It's Dewey Bragg is the vocalist, Rex Brown on bass, Mark Zevon is a guitar player, and Vinny Appice on drums. They had 2 albums out, but this first one is a very good. I know BC's familiar with it. Great album. It's self-titled, and you guys check it out. I will definitely post something about it, and I hope you guys check it out. It is a really, really good album.
BC.
I'm going to go with searching around and just coming across things in my travels. It's the band The Treatment. Latest album has been 2016's Generation Me, which is just a good, straightforward rock and roll throwing on, and no matter what you're doing, you just find your foot tapping and your head bobbing.
It's a foot tapper.
It's a foot tapper. Yeah. But check them out. I mean, they get two albums and an EP up.
Cool.
That's cool.
All right. And I have a Zakk Wylde Christmas song.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's shredding of "I'll Be Home for Christmas." Yep, it's just an instrumental song. We're not going to whine at Christmas. We're going to whine right after this. But it's just a ripping Christmas kick-ass song, and around the holidays when you're wrapping presents, throw this on. Your presents will be done in 10 minutes.
Wow, that's cool.
Or not.
Or there's no whining in it, so I figured it would be all right. It would be all right.
Pinch harmonics in it?
Oh yeah, that's all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Just no Zakk whining.
At least he didn't let us down on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we're talking about whining Zakk and keyboards and pianos and ripping guitar shreds, let's talk about our next album. I picked the 2004 release from Black Label Society, Hangover Music, Volume 6. This is the one I am most interested of hearing because I know there's going to be a lot of diversity of this album, and I just wanted to pick a Black Label album because it seems like I keep throwing an album out here, an album out here. BC, by the time we retire this podcast, I will make you guys listen to every Black Label album. So I think this is 3 so far. So I'm gonna keep continuing. Steve-O!
We're going to start with him? We're going to start with him?
Speaking of throwing albums out.
Oh, God. BB, you're my friend and I love you.
Yeah, BB, you're
Don't
my friend,
forget to recycle. It was okay. I wanted to hear the other 5 volumes, though, before this one. I listened to this one. It's not bad. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be all acoustic, but I think it was just a Zakk Wylde excuse to just go Yngwie on a lot of shit, I think. Because it's like acoustic until the solo, and then he like tears it up, and then it goes back into the song. which sometimes is good, sometimes not so good, I think, on this album. The songs, we'll do the favorite songs after. I'll get into that after. Whiter Shade of Pale, hate it, done to death. Can't stand that song. I don't like it when anybody does it.
Maybe you like the Black Label Shade of Pale.
Yeah. Like the first time that I remember someone doing this is when HSAS did that. Remember that, BC?
He prefers 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. I just am not a fan of that song, and Zakk did not help it out. It's okay. I definitely would not listen to this album again. And I don't think any of these songs would make any kind of playlist that I... sorry, BB, that I would put out. It's interesting, to say the least. It's too long. Sorry.
Okay.
There's some good stuff on it, though. When we talk about the favorites, I'll get into that.
Dylan.
So I think this album is better in context because this was the last album that they recorded with like the label they're with, and it was recorded as a contractual obligation.
Right.
So I think thinking about that, where this was just like we have to put an album out so that we could fulfill our contract. I think the album's a lot better for that because it's like, oh well, seeing as like they didn't have like as much of a stake in it, even though there are some really good songs in here. Like there's a nice little tribute to Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, who I know is your favorite band, Dad. I think a lot of times the acoustic going into the electric solo doesn't work as well as Zakk thinks it works. Sometimes it's really cool. Right. It's like it really gels and it's really great. But other times it's just like,
why did he do that?
I wish that like for the solos there would be some electric rhythm because it like the just pure electric solo and the acoustic rhythm drowns out the acoustic like really badly at times. But I mean, like, you could definitely tell he's good at soloing. I don't like his vocals as much on this album, but I do like... I would definitely listen to this album again. It's a really good album to put on in the background and gel with. They did all sound the same, but are you going to interrupt me during my...
No, I'm going to interrupt you when you're done.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I just wanted to kind of get on that point, too. I think this album would have greatly benefited... solo-wise, if there were some melodic solos on this album that could have fit the songs better than just Yngwieing it through them.
Yeah, they a lot of the solos were just, it kind of went from like, the song was going at a certain pace, and then the solo just like suddenly like jumps the tracks and goes off on its own
Jumps
thing.
the shark.
Which I think is a problem with Black Label a lot of the times. Like the solos often don't fit the song, so I don't think that's indicative of just this album, but I mean, I think he's a great player. He's a good songwriter. It's just that sometimes it didn't work as well as I think he thought it would. But I still found it enjoyable.
Right.
Even though I said a lot of negative things. Yeah, I did like it.
BC, help me out here, buddy. Help me out here.
First and foremost, I own this album.
All right. Which
Second-
album don't you own?
I don't know Black Label. Second of all, it's in my CD player in the vehicle right now.
Yes!
And I'm a mood listener, so I'm not going to throw this on every day of my life. But it's one of the ones I like. I like Black Label and everything. And like I said, I've been into this. The last few days have really took off for me. Brought me back. I haven't listened to it probably in a long time. But I mean, I like it. I mean, like Crazy or High. I mean, plus it's Hangover music, so it's definitely an album.
It's something you can identify with.
Yeah, I can. I mean, to me, there's.
So you could listen to this Sunday after our trip to New York.
I mean, like,
You had to get back in order to go to the Kiss Expo.
we're gonna jump right back up, but no, I mean, I like the solo, and I don't know. I mean, I agree. I mean, sometimes it just goes a little. And who said? I don't know if Steve or Dylan said it drowns out the acoustic background. Which I did notice that a few times. If the acoustic goes up a little bit,
like,
I think it'd be real good.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like it.
Thank you, buddy.
I like it too.
No, I know.
Listen, I critique out of love to try and help him improve.
There you go. I haven't listened to this album in a while. It was one of those popped in my head. All right, let's listen to this. And now I know why, because I think this album musically is fucking fantastic. I love how it's layered, like you guys say sometimes, like it drowns out the acoustic. I think it fits perfectly. I love how there's an acoustic, maybe a little piano in the background, and he comes in and he just melts those strings. I love that. My ear is toned to that. I think that.
Then he gives it a, oh yeah!
And a lot of times with the Zakk moaning in this album, it really fits. It really sounds cool. And I forgot how much I really, really like this album. And I think that there's a couple of songs that really kind of I didn't understand, but this is why I wanted to touch what Dylan said. It was an album just to fill an obligation with their record company, but there's still 15 songs on it, and it's over an hour long.
Yeah.
So why didn't you just put 10 songs on here and say, "Ta-da! Thank you. Have a nice day."
Yeah, it's 5 songs too long.
Like in context, I can appreciate that. The album cover is kind of cool too.
And
The album cover is cool.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
And Zakk even played bass on No Other.
Yeah.
So
because that was recorded
cool.
in another session, right?
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be for their. It was a leftover from. I had it written down. Blessed Hell Ride.
Yeah, Blessed Hell Ride. Godspeed, hell.
So, righty. What if you do have a favorite? What would be your favorite, and what several songs would be your least favorite?
Okay, my least favorite I said before, Whiter Shade of Pale. Hate it. I don't care who does it. I
1 to
think
14.
that song sucks ass. Damage is Done, I hate. It's too mellow. Not a great one. The songs I think Stepping Stone is really a cool sounding song. I like the bells in it. It has a great solo. It actually fits the song. Won't Find It Here. It's got a little groove to it. The middle part's cool. The solo kicks ass. It's got a very funky drum beat. Like the drum beat is kind of different on that song. House of Doom. I like that one. The beginning, even though the beginning reminds me of Pearl Jam for some reason, I still like it. It's a little more up tempo. I think it's the best song on the album. The solo's ripping. There's like a ripping part of the solo and a melodic part of the solo, and I think that this song was the perfect melding of all the other elements on this album.
Dylan.
I'm gonna say House of Doom and Lane were probably my two that I liked. House of Doom was the one that really pricked my ears up when I first listened, and Lane is a really nice tribute to an awesome singer. I mean, I definitely don't like Whiter Shade of Pale. Maybe Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow I'm not a fan of either. A lot of the songs kind of blended together for me, so I couldn't tell you for sure, but I think it was one of those two that I was like, man.
Gotcha.
The best part about it, the one song, it's only 39 seconds.
And I cannot pronounce that song.
And it goes for 39 seconds.
Tequila.
Tequila.
Esteban.
All right, BC.
I like it. Well,
I like
no, but
Don't
Stepping
be that
Stone, House of Doom, Woman Don't You Cry, which I always tell my girlfriend.
Nope.
And then I like Whiter Shade of Pale.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, maybe because it's beating in my head when I was a child, maybe. Because I think Judy
favorite.
I think
Yeah,
Judy
see?
played the shit out of it, and then that just no matter who does it, I always like it.
Right.
But what I don't like about it, I like it all. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound
Nice.
like that guy, but there's nothing really that sticks out going that I could have done without that.
Don't be that guy, BC.
For me, a couple of people already said I really like Stepping Stone. How it starts off with a really dark, low bass tone in the beginning. I love House of Doom. Really, it's kind of more of a heavier upbeat. And Damage is Done. I like how the piano starts and it slowly builds up to the end. And the only song that I hate on this album, and this is probably the worst Black Label song ever released, was "She Deserves a Free Ride." For me,
But it's Val's song.
Val, I'm not a big fan of Val. Val can just stand there and walk home. She doesn't need a ride. But if she does, she's going to pay. It's going to be an Uber. She's not going to get it free.
She's gonna get over it.
But yeah, she deserves free ride. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the moaning.
I hate the chorus on that
It's
song.
just-
It's terrible.
I don't know.
and it just ends. It ends. Yeah. Thank God.
So that was. Yeah, that's definitely my least favorite. So I'm another one. I'm glad we got all different opinions on that. So that's cool. So here we go. Now we saved the semi-best for last. For everybody out there, my live album I picked will be Live Right Here, Right Now from Van Halen 1983, the Sam Hagar version. And this is another very long album. I didn't realize it was that long. So, Dylan,
Okay.
what do you got?
So, I read up on this one as well, and I saw that it was kind of a chain reaction of re-recording at times, where like Eddie and Alex were going in to fix their mistakes, and then Sammy's like, well, because you fixed your mistakes, now I sound bad because it sounds like I'm not singing on time with you guys. So so basically he had to like watch the concert and record him singing like once
Straight through, right.
which is crazy to think of.
So live right here is not so live.
Yeah.
Surprise,
Version of
surprise.
Kiss Alive.
Yeah.
To get the bad stuff out of the way, I think there's too much stage banter. I think Sammy goes on for a little too long trying to hammer in, yeah, you gotta live in the now. It's like, don't worry about tomorrow because I could have been sleeping with groupies with the rest of the band. Like, okay, Sammy, come on. You were sleeping with the groupies just like the rest of them. Stop. I think some of the songs don't land as well, especially the ones that are the Dave songs. And it's not because I don't like the way it felt like Sammy's heart wasn't in it as well as like the Sammy songs. I'm used to hearing those songs in a certain way, and Sammy wasn't, tickling that funny bone for me. So I don't know. I just didn't dig it. But I will say there are a lot of really awesome tracks on here. Oh wait, another negative: the solos. We do not need an 8-minute drum solo from Alex Van Halen. I'm sorry. We do not need a 11:37. Nope, that's not it. Is it? Yeah. Is it 3:16? That's
3:16 is the...
Yeah, we do not need an 11-minute Eddie Van Halen solo. And me as a bassist, we do not need a 5-minute bass solo. I'm sorry. I know you're good, Michael Anthony, but we don't need that long. We don't need all these solos. Just throw them out. You could have shortened the album by like a half hour, literally. But there are a lot of really awesome songs on here. Judgment Day kicks ass. Man on a Mission is really good. Right Now is also really good too. And that's a song that never really struck with me, studio version, but I really like this version. I think the version of There's Only One Way to Rock is like one of the best versions of the song of all time. The back and stop shaking your head. The back and forth solos from Eddie and Sammy. That's so cool. That's awesome. Like you get to hear Eddie doing like a cover of a song that you never thought he would do. And like it feels like they're having fun going back and forth with it. I really enjoyed it. I liked the cover of Won't Get Fooled Again. That was really cool. And honestly, though there are a lot of ballads on here, most of the ballads are done really well, I thought. Like, I always liked Dreams. Love Walks In is always going to be my favorite Sammy ballad. I don't know why. I just love the Love Comes Marching. Like that harmony that him and Michael Anthony do. And they nail it live, too, which was really surprising. Although I'm thinking about it, I can agree that the chorus song, There's Only One Way to Rock, I don't like the way Sammy sings the lower part of that. That's the one thing I will concede, that is a little weird. But this was the one that I enjoyed listening to the most because I had never heard this before. Because I saw that it was a double album, I saw that it was Sammy, and I was brainwashed by this man over here into not liking any Sammy stuff, so I'm like, I'll skip it. But like there's a lot of really cool stuff on here. A lot of indulgent things, for sure, but a lot of really awesome... Plus it starts off with the big bopper, Hello Baby, from Good Enough, so that's really awesome too.
BC, what'd you think?
Let me get the negative out of the way first.
Yeah, might as well. Let me get the dump truck in. Beep, beep, beep.
No, I'm gonna agree with Dylan said it. When he does the Dave songs, it's lacking something to me at least.
It's lacking Dave.
Other than that, but I mean, the closest I come to liking it was Ain't Talking About Love. I don't think that's not bad. But the other ones just lack that something. And like I said, I've never been a fan of solos, even drum solos.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to some good stuff. Judgment Day rocks. I mean, like I said, Ain't Talking About Love is good. I like that on there. Run Around, One Way to Only One Way to Rock to me is classic Sammy. I love every time I hear that. And I like Give to Live. I love Sammy's version. This one's a little bit mellow.
Yeah, the little acoustic version, just him.
I guess I like when Sammy's version of it, and Best of Both Worlds I even like.
Right.
And Won't Get Fooled Again. The Who don't do nothing for me. I've tried.
He did nail the Roger Daltrey twice. Did it twice in the song.
Other than that, I mean, I can listen to it, but it doesn't grab me. I could throw it on and you'd be like, all right, yeah. But, you know what I mean? It doesn't, like, cringe you and you're like, I can turn it up louder. And
Like I have to put it on.
I have to
right
put it
again.
on, yeah.
Another
I have to
thing-
turn it up.
Another thing that I didn't mention was this song actually introduced me to a lot of Sammy stuff that I really hadn't listened to before. Like, I never really dug into For a Mouthful Carnal Knowledge. So, like, this was the first time I heard Man on a Mission. And I was like, holy shit, this is a really good song. And, like, Judgment Day, like, I had never really heard that before either. And I'm like, holy fuck, there's some really good Sammy songs. But, like, you're buried with all the ballads. Like, that's mostly what you'll hear from the Sammy era. Yep. But there's some really awesome rockers on there, too. So I was, thanks for picking this out. So I
told Steve before, like, the 5150 album is really growing on me throughout time.
That's a great album.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna shock you right off the bat. I actually own this album. I own it on CD.
Until he.
I totally agree, and I don't even think it's just Sammy. I think it's the whole band. The Dave Van Halen songs are very lackluster. I think singing and playing, I think they fall very flat. It kind of sounds like they kind of are just going through the motions doing those songs. We have to play them, so let's get through them, and let's really put our energy into
and you can
the
understand
Sammy
that
songs.
Because they're trying to push the new stuff.
Yeah, they're promoting.
Dave's got,
I mean, the whole For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album is in this live album except for one song.
The Dream is Over.
And that's even on, but that song is on the live on the DVD.
Yep.
And as far as there's only one way to rock, I think that this version falls flat. But I'm going to say compared to the one from Live Without a Net.
Well, I don't have.
I mean, that's not an album.
That frame of reference.
It's a DVD. It was a videotape. But check out that version.
I don't know. Is it even on DVD now?
I don't know. Maybe like a bootleg type thing.
Do they do the back and forth soloing on that as well?
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind. I'm like, oh my god, is that Sammy playing guitar?
It's much better on that. I don't hate this album, and I don't hate. Here you go, Jen. You're gonna pass out now. I don't hate the Sammy Van Halen stuff. I just love the Dave stuff so much more. But there are some good songs like Pound Cake, the Hello Baby. That's him trying to be Dave. I don't give a shit what anybody
says. He's trying to be Big Bopper. Literally.
No.
That's what Big Bopper used to do.
No.
It is.
I like the drill on that. Judgment Day's a rocker. When It's Love, like they get a good groove going with Pound Cake and Judgment Day, and then boom, ballad. Like they were getting a good feel going, a good momentum, and then bang. Spanked, I hate that song. It's fucking terrible.
I liked it.
Going against me.
Would you like to call it 1-900?
Yeah, call the Spank line. I think it's a terrible fucking song. Ain't Talking About Love. Like I said, it falls a little bit short. Sammy singing the Dave songs just doesn't work for me. In and Out, I think, is one of the best Sammy Van Halen songs. I think it is fantastic. I absolutely love that song. The solo in it is great. I even wrote down here, literally, Sammy even sings it great.
What song's that?
In and Out.
Oh, In and Out.
Absolutely love it. I love the background vocals in that. And then, you get Ain't Talking About Love, In and Out, then boom, Dreams. It comes right back down again. And I think it falls flat. I think that song falls flat also. Man on a Mission, not bad. Dylan, you're 100 right. We don't need a bass solo and a fucking drum solo, and we don't need a guitar solo. Yeah, that whole little chunk of that album can just be tossed out. Panama, that falls way short. In the banter in it is horrible. The banter in it is fucking terrible. And then boom, another ballad. They're killing me with these ballads here. Love Walks In. It's not a bad ballad, but it's just Run Around is good. The background vocals are great. Right Now kind of drags. One Way to Rock, like I said, it's good, but I like the other version better. Then Why Can't This Be Love? Another fucking slow song. Jesus. Give to Live, crappy Sammy solo song. Finish What You Started. That's not bad. It's a good Blue Balls song, I guess. Best of Both Worlds is good. I actually like the studio version a little bit better, which is kind of weird for me. Guitar solo, way too long. Eddie, we know you're like the best guitar player. You don't need to show every trick that you know.
What bugs me about Eddie's guitar solos now is that he'll do all the intros to amazing songs and then just move to the next intro.
Yeah.
He does Mean Streets in here.
Yeah. Cathedral.
He does Cathedral.
He does a little bit of, yeah.
I mean, Cathedral doesn't lead into a good song. That leads into Pretty Woman, but...
Yeah. You really got me. Actually sounds decent. And then they go into Cabo Wabo, which is a terrible, terrible fucking song. I want to kill myself when I hear that.
I don't agree with that, but I think the transition between the two is terrible.
Yeah.
It's like they just kind of grind to a halt.
They should have. They're songs that don't fit together.
Yeah.
Won't Get Fooled Again. I can live without it. Jump. Very lackluster version.
Don't stick your tongue out for The Who. They're great. Without The Who, there wouldn't be a lot of the bands you like.
Like who?
Take that, BC.
Wasp.
Top of the World is decent, a good version. I think the glaring omission on this album is they did not do Black and Blue, which is by far the best Sammy Van Halen song. But it's not terrible. There would be songs on here I would maybe put on a playlist. Definitely not the Dave ones. Definitely not. But, songs like Pound Cake, Judgment Day, In and Out, I would definitely check out again.
All right. What I was impressed when I listened to this, I'm like, boy, that's a lot of the Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge, and Steve already brought that up. And the only one they don't do is The Dream Is Over. And it's funny when Dylan brought up that they had to re-record Sammy's vocals because Eddie's out of tune or Alex is playing either too fast or too slow. You listen to the DVD version of Man on a Mission. I'm sorry, The Dream Is Over, and you can actually hear how out of tune Eddie is on that song.
Oh, really?
And it's fun. And what a different sounding tone that Sammy has to his vocal. Yeah, because I wanted to hear it. I'm like, because that's one of the best songs on Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge. I'm like, why didn't they put it on here? I'm like, it's on the DVD. Gotta go back and listen. And
so you get for shredding so much.
Exactly. And it seems like a lot of us had the same pretty common hits with these. We all thought Judgment Day was really, really good. And I thought the Cabo Wabo part of You Really Got Me was good. I didn't like the You Really Got Me part. Top of the World is a great finisher because that's the song they were pushing. And it's great to see a band actually do a whole freaking album in a concert. Like, how many times have we gone to a concert and they play like one song from their new album? These guys, they played it front to back, these 2 nights, which was really cool in my eyes. A couple of the other ones I didn't like especially all the guitar and drum solos. I didn't really care for that. But Maybe Ain't Talk About Love was kind of boring for me. I'm glad another one. We're all over the place. We're all over the board except for Judgment Day. I think we always said Judgment Day is probably the winner of this album. What's your worst one, Dill?
Well, besides the solos.
Yeah, besides the solo,
don't count
the actual song. And actually, the Pleasure Dome, it's an awesome song too, but they don't even.
But then they
don't sing
and
it.
they ruin it with
just
a
the drum
friggin'
part.
8-minute drum solo. I'm gonna say the worst one for me is probably either Ain't Talking About Love or Panama. I don't like the way they do them. I think I agree with you, Dad, that even the band does sound lackluster in them. It's like, okay, they're expecting to hear some stuff, but like they really don't
You're
put
not
in
getting any
the
gems.
effort. And Sammy just seems like during like the kind of like ad-lib talking parts, like where it's like you reach down between my he like doesn't do that, and he just kind of goes into a banter, and then you lose the song.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we have to come back into the song. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'd say Panama or Ain't Talking About Love. And I mean, I have Vietnam flashbacks every time I listen to Ain't Talking About Love anymore. So
You're welcome.
Steven!
Excuse me. Give to Live, definitely. I hate the song to begin with. The version does not help, and like I don't care for the Dave stuff on there. But like the Sammy stuff, I like Judgment Day, and I Man on a Mission is really good too. But I really love In and Out.
Good. BC.
The worst for me would probably be, like I said, Panama.
Yeah.
Because it just lacking that
Yeah.
But the crappy thing is, like, even with Dave, they don't do that great with
Yeah.
those songs anyways.
But like we said, you get a chance to. I know I have the VH copy of Live Without a Net. I'm sure it's out there on YouTube somewhere.
That's good.
That's like you could tell. It's beginning. They're having a ball.
Yeah.
Like this one, they're not. It just seems like they're not as cordial as the beginning.
I used to go down
'cause
to
this
the
is-
rental shop and rent that all the time.
This is like right at the end of like the Sammy line, right?
Yeah.
It was right before Gary Sharon. And I think part of the reason why I never listened to sound before was I thought it was a Gary Sharon live Van Halen album because I would always look at like
Can you imagine that?
my dad had his CD rack
Gary
and it was
Sharon
like
jam.
live right here, right now, right next to Van Halen 3, and I'm like, oh well, it's a Gary Sharon Van Halen album. I'm not going to listen to that. But I'm glad I got to listen to it because it's a really fucking good album.
Although Michael Anthony sang a lot of live stuff on
Yeah, he
Gary
did.
Sharon tour.
And it only took him till the 90s to come out with a live album.
Phew. All right, let's have a little final thought around the table here. BC.
Got to check out some albums I haven't checked out in a long time, and like I said, there's nothing bad with listening to any kind of music. I think so.
What would you rank the albums?
There you go.
Def Leppard, number 1. Probably Black Label, number 2. And then Kiss, and then Bannon.
Okay, wow. Not at all what I thought you were
Yeah.
going to have as an order.
Keep on your toes, man. Come on.
Dylan.
I really enjoyed listening to all these albums. I think each and every one of them had something good, as well as, I mean, besides Def Leppard, they had some minor problems, for lack of a better word, but if I had to rank them, I would probably go, just because I've never listened to it before and I was really surprised by it, I'm going to go Van Halen, Def Leppard, Kiss, and then Black Label, but like they're all pretty high up, so they're all really good albums. Definitely more of a unified response than I got with my albums.
Podfessor.
First and foremost,
Oh boy.
happy birthday, BB.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Woo!
We love you, buddy. You're awesome on the podcast. We love having you here, and I absolutely loved the first half of this podcast.
After the hidden gem, it went downhill.
But that's what I like about this. It forces me to jump outside that box that I'm in sometimes, and and sometimes it works out good, like My Chemical Romance, and sometimes it does not. But I was like Pyromania, always rocked to that, loved it. Crazy Nights, it was good to revisit that, to check out the shredding and listen to it in a different context than you're used to listening to it. The Van Halen one, I actually own that, and I was rather familiar with it. BC and I actually listened to that on the way to the Kiss Expo the other day, and we had a little conversation about it. And I don't hate it. Like I said, I don't hate it. I hate the Dave stuff because I think
Hate's
they
a
just
bad
don't.
word.
Huh?
Hate's a bad word.
I really dislike it.
Okay, that's fine.
The Dave stuff on there. I think it's very lackluster.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Which do you think is a better live album? Right Here, Right Now, or Tokyo Dome?
Oh, Tokyo Dome.
See, I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Well, I think
I'm
I'm just going to put it this way. As Crazy Nights was really polished, I think that the Sammy one was polished. I think the Tokyo Dome one has more of a raw sound. You may the Dave vocals are kind of all over the place, which you get with Dave, but I think the music on that is recorded much more raw. I think it's a more visceral album, I think.
Here's why I say that.
And I think it has more element of fun than the Sammy one does.
Here's why I say I like Live Right Here, Right Now better. You have Michael Anthony singing background vocals instead of Wolfgang and Eddie trying to, and like the vocals all around I think on Tokyo Dome aren't good. And I think they're off on the timing on some of the songs on Tokyo Dome. And I like
But that's live.
I like
they
the
didn't go
songs.
back in and do it.
I understand that,
And that's
but
the thing I like about live stuff too. But I look at it also. Look at the song selection.
I like the song selection better on Live Right Here, Right Now.
I don't. The only one I don't like on the Tokyo Dome one is "Women in Love." I hate that fucking song. I would have rather see Dave try to sing a Sammy song than do "Women in Love." I fucking hate that song that much. And but I like the track listing because I think they could have, instead of doing every song from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. They could have mixed it up with, throw Black and Blue in there, or throw a couple more songs from 5150 in there, like maybe like Inside or something like that. It's, like I said, I don't hate it. And as far as the Black Label Society album goes, there were parts I liked. There were, and it's pretty much what I expected it to be. I just wish he was a little more melodic on the soloing on that album. I mean, it's cool to listen to different stuff, and I like these episodes where I gotta be against my will.
So did you rank them yet, sir?
I did not rank them.
Okay.
I'm sure you can probably guess it's going to be
Def Leppard Kiss.
Def Leppard, Kiss, Van Halen, and then Black Label.
Exactly what I thought it was going to be.
But, I can be predictable at times, but
and
I kind of knew that going. But I mean, you can't. I can't put any of these over Pyromania.
Yeah,
that's
what I mean.
I mean, I think that is probably everyone's top pick, right? I'm gonna say.
I said Van Halen, but that was because I hadn't listened.
Okay.
I had never listened to it before,
right.
and it was a really nice surprise for me. But Pyromania is objectively the best out of the albums. The best of four worlds.
The best.
And I think I'm like BC. I got Pyromania, I got Black Label, I got Crazy Nights, and I got the Van Halen. Thank you. This was a fun episode, and throwing the reins over. Sometimes you get a little nervous doing this, but you guys make it pretty easy. Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you to our listeners. Please, contact us on Facebook, interact with us, share us with your friends. Check us out on Twitter. We'll try to get some more stuff out on there. And we will catch you next time. And there will be a next time.